Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I am Rashid Ali with the topic that we already discussed about the spectrum of the antibiotics. Here in this topic, we will focus on the classification of the penicillins. So here I am also highlighting that one classification of the penicillin antibiotics. Penicillins are classified on the basis of spectrum. As I have discussed in the detail regarding the spectrum of the penicillins. The spectrum of the penicillins depends upon their size. Those penicillins which have bigger size have low spectrum, means they can only act on the gram-positive bacteria. And those antibiotics which are small in size have wide spectrum and they can act on both gram-positive as well as gram-negative bacteria. Here we are starting from the narrow spectrum penicillins. So for that we have this is narrow spectrum penicillins. The natural penicillins that I have already discussed with you, penicillin G, that is also known as benzyl penicillin, and penicillin V, that is also known as phenoxymethyl penicillin. They were known as the natural penicillins. Initially, when penicillins were discovered, these were the two penicillins which were mostly famous. From the natural penicillins, we can see here these natural penicillins are effective against streptococci, pneumococci, and some spirochetes, but have limited gram-negative coverage. Acting on the gram-positive bacteria, but have limited activity against the gram-negative bacteria. जो पेनिसिलिन जी और पेनिसिलिन वी बेटा जो पेनिसिलिन्स थे, they had an activity against the gram-positive bacteria that includes streptococci, pneumococci, and some spirochetes. They have limited efficacy, limited activity against the gram-negative bacteria. The reason was that they were bigger in size. They were not effective against Streptococcus aureus. Streptococcus aureus is one of the gram-positive bacteria. Most of the time, penicillin G and penicillin V are effective against the gram-positive bacteria. They have limited activity against the gram-negative bacteria. Why they have limited activity against the gram-negative bacteria? Because they are bigger in size. Because of the big size, they cannot enter into the cellular compartments of the gram-negative bacteria, while they can easily enter into the gram-positive bacteria. Among the gram-positive bacteria, there is a type of the bacteria that is the Streptococcus aureus. These penicillin G and penicillin V were not active against the Streptococcus aureus. Why they were not active against those? Let's see. Because of the production of penicillinase, a type of beta-lactamase enzyme produced by many Streptococcus aureus strains. ये जो हमारा Streptococcus aureus था, that has the production of beta-lactamases, that has the production of the penicillinase enzyme. ये वो बैक्टीरिया था जिसमें पेनिसिलिनेज प्रोड्यूस हो रहा था, जिसमें बीटा लैक्टमेज प्रोड्यूस हो रहा था. वैसे जनरली ये है कि जो ग्राम नेगेटिव बैक्टीरिया हैं उनके अंदर जो प्री प्लाज्मिक स्पेस होता है that is actually site for the production of beta lactamases, but in some gram positive bacteria there is also the production of the penicillinase enzyme or the beta lactase enzyme. Streptococcus aureus जो बैक्टीरिया था that was producing the penicillinase, that was containing the beta lactamase enzyme. Because of the presence of beta lactamase enzyme, penicillin G and penicillin V were not effective against the Streptococcus aureus. Okay. Penicillinase hydrolyze the beta-lactam ring of the penicillin molecules, rendering the antibiotic ineffective against this bacteria. वो जो पेनिसिलिन था, वो जो पेनिसिलिनेज एंजाइम था, that was causing the hydrolysis of beta lactam ring. वो उन पेनिसिलिन मालिक्यूल्स की बीटा लैक्टम रिंग को डिग्रेड कर रहा था। वो उन पेनिसिलिन मालिक्यूल्स की जो बीटा लैक्टम रिंग है उसको हाइड्रोलाइज कर रहा था। तो उसकी हाइड्रोलाइसिस की वजह से, पेनिसिलिन्स की हाइड्रोलाइसिस की वजह से वो जो पेनिसिलिन्स थी वो डिस्ट्रॉय हो रही थी, डिग्रेड हो रही थी, जिसके रिजल्ट में दे वर इनइफेक्टिव अगेंस्ट दी दैट बैक्टीरिया। Then, then modifications were done in those penicillins. After that, there were the option of the modifications. Then we gave the modifications in those penicillins by increasing their side chain and could prevent them from beta lactamase attack. A new group of antibiotics was developed. Okay, when it was found that penicillin G and penicillin V are not effective against Streptococcus aureus, then we performed modifications on those molecules. Modification was that हमने क्या किया कि जो उनकी साइड चेन थी, अगर हम बीटा लैक्टम रिंग की स्ट्रक्चर देखेंगे तो उनकी स्ट्रक्चर में देयर इज अ साइड चेन, एक साइड चेन होता है, एक बीटा लैक्टम रिंग होती है, एक ब्रांच चेन होता है। तो जो उनकी साइड चेन थी, जो आर ग्रुप था, उसको हमने मॉडिफाई किया, उसकी साइज को हमने बढ़ाया। जब हम उसकी साइज को बढ़ाया तो उसकी साइज इंक्रीज होने की वजह से दैट प्रोटेक्ट द एंटीबायोटिक्स फ्रॉम द बीटा लैक्टम अटैक। ये हमें एडवांटेज मिला कि हमने उनकी साइज को बढ़ाया, और साइज बढ़ाने की वजह से जो बीटा लैक्टमेज की एक्टिविटी थी दैट वाज उसको हमने प्रिवेंट किया, और जो हमारी पेनिसिलिन थी वो इफेक्टिव हो गई अगेंस्ट दी स्ट्रेप्टोकोकस आरियस। तो इस हवाले से नेचुरल पेनिसिलिन जो थी, पेनिसिलिन जी थी, पेनिसिलिन वी थी, हमने उसमें फर्दर चेंजेस किए, हमने उसको फर्दर मॉडिफाई किया, उसकी साइज को फर्दर बढ़ाया। तो अब उनकी साइज और ज्यादा बढ़ गई। तो उनकी साइज और ज्यादा बढ़ने की वजह से there was an introduction of the new class that were very narrow therapeutic spectrum पेनिसिलिन एंटीबायोटिक्स। तो उसके बाद हमारे पास एक ऐसी पेनिसिलिन का ग्रुप आया जो वेरी नेरो स्पेक्ट्रम था।